When you're working in a situation of war, you always watch your back. Wherever you go, you need to check is there a security risk. The routes you take are dangerous. There can be an explosion anytime. You live in a high alert zone where at any time there can be a suicide bombing, an attack. I am a human rights lawyer. I work with lawyers around the world to take on human rights cases with a special focus on women's rights. I've been interested in Afghanistan since I was 12 years old. I came across an article called Strangers to Freedom, and then my uncle and I decided to sponsor a little girl there when I was 15. Then when I was 17, I decided I want to see her, I want to know her, I want to know her country. So I traveled there to meet my sponsored child. During that trip, I realized that's what I want to do. I want to continue working in Afghanistan and for Afghanistan. And since then, every year I've been back. I became a lawyer because I wanted to be a human rights lawyer. The law are the tools we can use to hold people accountable, because only through a law can a person be brought to prison. It's only through a law that a person can be fined for breaching the rights of others. Otherwise, how are you going to hold powerful people accountable? It's almost impossible in some countries, like Afghanistan. So Sahar's goal, right, is to fund grassroots community lawyers who are at the front line. And these are lawyers who are risking their lives. Some of them are so drained and so exhausted and so tired, and they really gave up everything to fight for a person's dignity. It's incredible. When you feel so strongly about the injustice of a situation, you just dedicate your life to it. You put your whole soul into it. Then when you take on a case, you're dealing with the family of the victim who may be opposed to having that case brought to court. The offender and his relatives, and if he's a powerful offender, they are as high as you can get, with military connections and a history of having partaken in war. Very dangerous offenders, they can send threats. You feel like the world is against you except for you and your small team. Some of our work is undercover. So imagine you're the advocate of the victim, but you have to remain undercover. To do the work undercover, it's very difficult. You're the advocate. To advocate means to speak up and to be in front of, right? Being patronized as a woman, I think a lot of women have experienced that no matter where you are. But it could be simple things like when you're in a meeting and it's a high-level meeting. A senior male that you're trying to lobby to push for changes tells you you're beautiful, tells you he wants to take you out. It automatically stops the conversation right there because you're not hearing what I'm saying. You know, that conversation is over. And I'm here for that conversation, and that conversation is important. It's demoralizing. When we win, we cry. But I mean, not just like you win the case. If I get this witness, it's just going to be great. Because it's so hard to pull together evidence. So when we get evidence that's going to be helpful, we cry. That's the response, we cry. These are the small wins. Small wins ultimately make the big win, right? So we cry a lot. It was always us ordinary people, young people, who are doing so many different types of things. Not just lawyers, right? We've had so many people who've contributed to our group. The more I see that, the more I believe that when we group, we can hold more power than the powerful. Each of us has a place in the system, and nothing is impossible. It was never the president or someone high up in society that made the change. It was always us ordinary people.